Hi, I'm Paul Battaglia, and this is section 9.6. I'm joined today by Gabe and Brittany. And I guess, Brittany, what we need a place to start. So tell us how we can get students just to start graphing these polar equations.
All right, to graph these polar equations, I start from the beginning, as the students did when they first started learning about the rectangular coordinate system and plotting points. Is just creating a table and filling out that whole table, and then plotting those points.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's suppose they've done this a couple times, right? And they start to say, is there anything we could do maybe to shorten the process up a little bit? What do you tell them then?
Then I go into the discussion about symmetry, and that way it'll help them quickly go through and
they start to see those patterns. Perfect. Gabe, I'm sure at some point you've seen students do some things wrong, right? So how about some common misconceptions students have when graphing?
Sure. So one of the big differences between the polar coordinate system and the rectangular coordinate system is when we're talking the rectangular coordinate system, we'll plot a couple points. Right. And really what happens is as x increases, the graph will do one thing, and as x decreases,
so they start to see that pattern.
They sort of see, okay, well, that's how these graphs look. But here, these graphs can sort of overlap each other and intersect themselves several times.
Sure.
So what students might do is they might plot a couple points and see, okay, my graph intersects itself. That must be all that I have to plot. When really, that might not be the case, because it might intersect itself, then come back through and loop around and make all sorts of interesting looking graphs. So you want to make sure that students plot enough points to actually get an accurate representation of what their graph looks like.
Totally agree. And I think, as Gabe said, there are so many wacky things that can happen here. Feel free to let your students kind of explore a little bit. Have them set their calculator to the correct mode, polar mode, and have them just play with some of the constants and see what kind of funky shapes they can make. And I think one of the other things you might want to think about is just perhaps looking at this section and looking at all the different special polar graphs that there are. And if time is a little bit of an issue, maybe picking and choosing which ones you like to go through with students. And I know personally I like the rose curves. I like having my students try to discover the pattern of how the petals occur, things of that nature. I hope these tips have been helpful for you and you find much success in section 9.6.